welcome to the Blue Aces podcast, where we'll discuss a little bit of trends on AI, cybersecurity specifically, and how those things are driving forces in the market today. I'm your host, Jack Biedick, and today I'm joined by Big B, who is the, I believe, founder and CEO over at NewPush. So welcome.
Hey guys, nice to be here. Thank you very much, Jack, for having me.
Awesome. We can jump right in. And if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about your background and the journey that led you hopping onto the podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started NewPush a long time ago, actually, 25 years ago. That was before the cloud. And what we noticed at the time is large enterprises have access to the latest and greatest in technology, which the mid-market small businesses did not have access to. And we felt it was like an injustice. So we started NewPush to be able to slice up those really big, very powerful machines, to be able to kind of cut them up in smaller bite-sized pieces that were affordable for the mid-market. And then this later, some marketing folks came and called it the cloud. So, as cloud providers came and large investment firms had an advantage at that, we came into a niche where customers that had a need for edgy products, innovative products to be put on the market and scale fast in a managed environment, they came to us. And so we ended up growing in this niche. We grew the company to over $10 million, mostly actually, interestingly enough, with enterprise sales, innovative branches in the enterprise. So it was like working with the innovation side, innovator businesses within larger corporations that had the maturity and sophistication for some of the security features that we had. And naturally, we evolved into getting really good at security because of these high profile projects. They were attacked, and we ended up needing to know how to protect systems with only 40 minutes between a vulnerability appearing and having to mitigate that vulnerability. And that 40 minutes was actually true 15 years ago. Today, if you ask the founder of Mandiant, which is one of the best cybersecurity firms in the world, if you guys haven't heard of Mandiant, they are the ones who the Pentagon calls when they suspect the Chinese up to no good. And actually, Google, recognizing that, purchased them a few years ago. So Mandiant is now a Google company. And I got to see the founder of Mandiant a couple of years ago at a Google conference. And basically, he said that this time, that was like 40 minutes before, is now reduced to, well, guess how long, Jack?
I'm going to say, I know it's probably even smaller than, I'm going to guess on the smallest, I'm going to say 30 seconds. Might be pushing it, but...
No, actually, it's not that bad. It's you get 15 to 20 minutes, okay?
Okay, all right.
You get 15 to 20 minutes before breaching on average. So you're right. In some cases, when it's a very egregious, outrageous breach or vulnerability that you have, then probably 30 seconds is enough.
Yeah.
But overall, you have on average 15 minutes, which means that you want to be well within that time range because that's the average. And as you mentioned, sometimes it can happen in 30 seconds. So it's kind of like this movie with Nicolas Cage, right? Gone in 60 seconds. So I love Nicolas Cage movies. Sorry if you guys don't like it.
That's a great reference point, honestly. That was going to be my follow-up. You kind of got into it yourself, but just the speed, I think, of attacks these days and how quickly and how fast things can happen. You have to be able to respond even faster. That, I think, that time frame will only slow or I guess speed up over time. And the fact that it was 40 minutes, whatever you said, 15 minutes or 15 years ago. Now we're down to, 15, 20. And again, with the speed and technology that people have at their disposal on the attacker side, needs to keep up with that, more on the security side as well.
Absolutely. So when you get good at that, you basically have to figure out a bunch of ways to automate your cyber and your managed services, because IT is actually a whole. I usually tell people, even those who are not in cyber, if your laptop starts to like heat up, act up, like what do you suspect, Jack? What's happening?
Probably running too much computing power. Got too much going
Yeah,
on.
but if there is no reason, what do you
Oh,
suspect?
oh, yeah. Then somebody else is probably utilizing your systems to do something they
Yeah,
shouldn't.
so you think maybe somebody got into your system, right? So
Yes.
intuitively, we know our laptops, we know our machines enough that when it's acting up, we suspect something odd, something off. And so this doesn't require a very sophisticated, expensive cybersecurity tool. And that's kind of one of the differences that we do is we collect information that's like just plain old stupid, as you say, and or keep it simple, and basically we collect everything about the IT environment, including cyber, and
That's,
they have to match, because if you have two tools that tell you two different things, you know that they can't both be right.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's actually the way also to tackle AI. So you heard maybe that 95% of AI projects are failing according to MIT. Now, these are very specific cases in which they mention that, but it's still a staggering. We all heard of people complaining about AI, about saying, oh, it's not doing what it's supposed to, it's not as good, things like that. I would say that if your AI project doesn't work out, or it doesn't work the way you'd like it, don't blame the machine, okay? Because possibly there is some external forces there that make it that the most typical thing is garbage in, garbage out. So this MIT report and other reports have pointed out that people do the pilot projects on like idealized data, like they have like a sample set that works nicely, and then when they unleash the project on real world, it doesn't work. So Jack, I know you're kind of not new to cybersecurity, but you're approaching it from the marketing aspect. Have you heard of the CIA triad before?
I have not.
Okay, so of course we all heard CIA because we all think of the Central Intelligence Agency. But when you're a cybersecurity expert, you have to learn about the CIA triad. And the C in CIA stands for confidentiality. And when you think about it, okay, so that means that cybersecurity is about not letting the guys who are not supposed to access the data access it. So that's the confidentiality part. You make sure that only the right people have access. The next one is a little bit less intuitive. I stands for integrity. Okay. Integrity meaning that when you're looking at the data, it's the right data. Nobody tampered with it, either maliciously or just out of maybe a CD decaying, and you're not able to retrieve the right data. Those guys who had their wallets on those CDs, their Bitcoin wallets back in 2011, we stored things still in CDs. They have millions of dollars lost now, and that's about integrity. And then the last one, do you want to take a guess what A stands for?
Accountability, maybe?
You're getting close. It's availability. Because what
Accountability. Okay.
good is protecting your data? What good is making sure it's whole if you can't access it? Okay.
Yes.
So the CIA triad is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And that's what cybersecurity is about. And people tend to forget because they think, oh, cybersecurity is about keeping out the hackers. But when you see about this larger scope of cybersecurity, you understand better why large firms like Gartner, who are analyst firms, tell you that, okay, if you want to do cyber right, you have to base it on good foundations. Pouring the nice foundations is not the fun part of building a house. But everybody knows that if you don't have the right foundations, might as well not build the house because it's going to crumble. Excuse me. So basically, what happens here is CIA, cybersecurity, is the foundations of your house here, or of your AI house. You want to grow your business, you want to leverage technology, well, then you have to build the right foundations, and that's all about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Integrity here would be the biggest piece why AI projects fail, because of the age-old adage, garbage in, garbage out, right? I mean,
Yep.
everybody knows that. And so it's not an incompetent person. It's not necessarily even a malicious person. It's just simply that AI cannot make your data that's inaccurate accurate.
Yes, still
Okay.
need
So
the human element to some extent and making sure that you have the
a
right data.
human element, or just stop kicking the can down the road. That there is this non-sexy part, just like building the house. The foundation is never going to be visible. It's not the sexy part of the house. You have to make it right. Your data quality has to be there. Okay. So that's kind of why I'm actually excited about AI coming along, because it gives like a new interest to cybersecurity, because now cybersecurity is not just this cost center, but cybersecurity is your foundation. It unlocks your ability to actually leverage AI and be able to reap these benefits of AI without actually falling apart. So,
Definitely,
and
I
that
think.
should be exciting for a business.
Yeah, I agree. I think for a lot of people, kind of two thoughts. For one, I think a lot of people, it's a little bit scary AI, but it's also very exciting just in terms of the additional, efficiencies that I think you can really get out of it and the multitude of ways that you can really put it to use. The other thing was just a very simple kind of metaphor that I was thinking of while you're talking about, hey, foundations. And I'm from, South Florida originally. So we got obviously all the hurricanes and everything. And yeah, if you build a beach house, and you don't have a good foundation and a big storm comes around, then hey, there goes your house. So yeah, just again, very funny thinking about it from that perspective. Awesome.
And it
Well,
takes
yeah,
even
appreciate
more.
that.
It takes even more than just the right foundations, right? So we're not
Yes.
saying that
Yes.
that's it. But
But
if you
still, I
don't
mean,
have those,
that's a good place to start at the very least.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you kind of led me into a handful of questions that I have, but I guess looking at then the cybersecurity industry from a wider perspective, any major like shifts or trends that you see that are shaping the future of the industry, particularly?
Yeah, so the industry itself is using AI and is also threatened by AI. I guess the industry is less threatened by AI than people, right? You see that the new phishing emails are so much more realistic. It's not
Mm-hmm.
anymore those Nigerian warlords that are sending, the story of the prince and send me money, and they put a bunch of typos in there where you actually, but now somebody in China can craft an email that sounds completely like Larry Ellison, the founder of and CEO of Oracle, and send out a note to employees saying, hey, we are freezing all salaries, but if you think your situation is different and you deserve a raise in spite of the salary freeze, fill out this PDF. Okay. And so people jumping on, oh yeah, I deserve more money. So, and,
Yes,
and they
people
fill out the
love
PDF,
clicking
but it's
links
game
and
over.
making quick snap decisions of, oh my god, well I need to update my bank account information now or change over or whatever that request might be. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
when it comes to those attacks, I think that human element is very very important for sure.
And that's actually you're reminding me one very very common thing that I see mostly in Europe, but a little bit also in the US, that people tend to use their generic Gmail accounts for business. And it's like a huge risk, because anyone can create an email account on Gmail. And let's say that Jack, your email account on Gmail maybe is Jack73. Okay, I'm making
Mhm.
that up. That's not
Yeah.
your email account. But let's say it's Jack73, because I'm sure you've seen an email account that's called Jack73 at gmail.com. Now, who remembers that? Nobody. Anyone can create an email account like Jack25, okay? And then they will send an email and they will make their name Jack Beddick. Okay. So the person receiving, they're not seeing Jack 25. And even if they saw Jack 25, they're not necessarily remembered, wait a minute, he was Jack 73. People were, I like, oh, it's Jack Beddick. That's great. And the other thing they will do is they will take one of your friends who has used the same account, the same password on Facebook and on Instagram and on all of their social media, on LinkedIn and on their Gmail, and that they can buy readily on the dark web. And they basically get into that email account. They're not wreaking havoc. Nobody even notices that they're in the account. All they do is they watch for that project that you do with them, where at some point there's going to be money transfer, And then from that Jack25 Gmail account that they created, they're gonna attach a thread that looks like there's been a conversation,
Yep.
and to the
All new
guys who are
software.
supposed to send you the money, they say, hey, by the way, my bank account just changed. Could you please wire the money here instead of there? And because they see all the history, the email exchange history, they
Looks
just,
legit.
you actually are not copied on that email, so you're not even seeing the train wreck happening. And basically the wire transfer happens. And this is not some fictitious story that I'm telling. Actually, it
No,
happened to
I've seen
people that
this
I
exact
know
situation
firsthand.
happen. Yep.
Yeah.
No,
So,
yeah, definitely very, very real life example. So yeah,
and then the funniest part, that I talk to business owners often, that they go to Office 365 because everybody heard, of Microsoft and stuff. And so they think that in order to have a domain name and send email with a domain name, they need to have Office 365 or it's called now Microsoft 365. No problem with Microsoft. Okay, this is not saying Microsoft is bad. It's just saying that those guys, they actually do their business on Gmail. They like Gmail. They just don't even know that there is a professional version of Gmail called Google Workspace. And so what they do is they set up on one side this Microsoft World account, but they only use it to send some professional emails, like for marketing, and then their actual everyday business, they still do it on the Gmail account. And basically what happens is that they still remain vulnerable. And all they have to do is, instead of spending more money, because the Microsoft account actually costs them more than a Google Workspace account, is to upgrade from their Gmail account to a Google Workspace account. And they still in that same world that they're comfortable with. The Gmail interface is the same, except that now you're protected and nobody can create like the Jack25 account, because now, it's maybe jack@bedic.com on Google Workspace. You still get into it like the same Gmail way. So that's, I mean, so many people use Gmail and they love Gmail. And, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. That's how they operate. That's what they're used to. So when they are suddenly forced, into the Microsoft world, they're like, they keep doing it on the Gmail side. And so that's one of the things that we always recommend to small businesses that do that. Hey, okay, if you don't want to fully adopt Microsoft, that's okay. Nobody forces you. You can do it with a Google Workspace account, and then we put your domain on Google Workspace, and you can protect it, because now you can operate in a protected way, and all those hacks, all those scams that can be done against you when you're using Gmail for business, they cannot be done against you anymore. So
yes.
sorry, I just wanted to say this because it's so common. I see it so much that hopefully maybe some of our listeners like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I'm doing that. That's me that you're talking to. Yes, I agree. There are definitely a ton of people out there in that space, I'm sure, who, hey, it's something, pretty simple, but can go a long way in terms of that protection for the cybersecurity side. So yeah, no, thank you for sharing. We'd love to jump into NewPush a little bit, and was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about your business, what you do, who you do it for, and why does that matter to your customers?
Yeah, so basically, we found today that we still have a relevance in the sense that we started our company to allow small businesses to get technology that's affordable. And now what's really hard to afford is, one, cybersecurity, because enterprise grade cybersecurity is outrageously expensive. So we
Mm-hmm.
partnered with providers and got like massive discounts. We buy licenses in the hundreds of thousands, and we basically can distribute that, at enterprise discount levels,
Level of
because
security.
enterprises get like 90% discount and like super bundles when you buy a bunch of things together. And that's one thing, to make it affordable. And secondly is basically to enable these businesses to leverage AI, because that's the other side, that large businesses have a lot of resources to leverage AI. Small businesses don't. So we have, from simple trainings, we created an AI training system that's personal based. If you can go online and learn AI online, then you're good. But a lot of people prefer to learn from a person, not from an avatar. Okay, and so for those, we created an AI training system, and we're building the entire plan, the AI plan, on solid foundations, so that whatever you build, you can taste the success and trust the protection.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was curious, like outside of the training, do you have any like real world examples of, and you don't have to name names, but how a customer has used new to achieve a meaningful result for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's tons of examples. Mostly, we start with marketing because marketing is not very dangerous in the sense that the data you're using ends up going public. And then, when you start with marketing, businesses start to get a hang of it, and then they start also to see where the danger zones are. And then when we go into your deeper into your business, whether you have a meat factory or snowboard manufacturing, we're helping one of the snowboard manufacturers, Donek, who is making snowboards for Olympic team members. They actually win gold medals. So we've been protecting them for decades now. So there's a bunch of super cool examples of leveraging AI, getting into the new world, and ensuring that those businesses don't fall behind, because AI is growing exponentially. I know
Yes.
there's a fear, that they're missing the boat. It's a real fear, and at the same time, there's a fear of doing it wrong and losing everything that you acquired. So we're here to help with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did want to pivot, I guess, a little bit more into kind of the growth and your business priorities for NewPush. So curious, I guess, like at this moment, and if you could remind me and the listeners, what stage is your business right now? How long have you been around? And what does growth really look like for you over the next 12 months or so?
Yeah, so we've been around for 25 years. We have two growth products. We have a platform that basically helps any market, but we built it now. We rebuilt it for the mid market. Helps you basically as a business owner understand where your risk is, so so you can deploy only the right resources to mitigate the risk you want to mitigate, and go full blast forward, in these new technologies, without having to fear that what you worked so hard for is taken from you. That's the platform. Right now, we just call it NewPush platform. We will have to talk to some marketing people to come up with a new name. And then we have the AI training system, which we call Noemi right now, and that's we're actually recruiting a lot of coaches. We work with universities both in the U.S. and across the pond in Europe to strengthen the curriculum that we're providing, and to add a lot of coaches. We basically, imagine a class from 25 to 50 people, a little bit Montessori style, where you have different levels of AI expertise there, and the best ones graduate as coaches. The intermediate people graduate as people who are very comfortable building and modifying AI agents, and then the explorers, as we call them, are very comfortable using AI and also using agents. Because the question today is not whether you're using ChatGPT. Luckily, a lot of people are using, chat engines. But the question is, can you actually build an AI robot that actually will do work while you sleep? Okay.
Yeah, and do it in the right way,
Have
how
like
you want it to be executed. Yeah. Uh,
like I think my agent has written hundreds of lines of code. Okay. I don't have to check on him. And it's not lines that I'll have to throw away. Okay. So that's basically, do you have a robot that does work for you right now? Okay. Because
yes.
your competitor may have. Okay.
Hmm.
That's what we're here to make sure that people are not left behind.
Yeah, exactly. And like we talked about earlier, yeah, just maximizing the efficiencies because hey, it's like we might be able to do the same stuff as this robot, but if it can do it 10 times faster, then hey, that's time that you could spend doing other things. So yeah, I think that's very
Absolutely.
important. Was curious more on hey, kind of the challenges side for you, but what has been a little bit more of the toughest part of getting new push into the hands of your ideal customers?
So it's being able to define the unique selling proposition, being able to define the personas who are your target customers, etc. That was really, really hard, and AI helped a lot. AI helped tremendously, and the marketing team that we're working with has helped us create a couple of AI. Uh, Gemini calls them gems, and ChatGPT calls them GPTs, but they are like mini robots. They require some interaction, and they don't go off work for hours on end without your supervision. But they still like automate building a lot of things, and they still behave a little bit like alternative employees, like virtual employees. You can even give names to them, and you can like before I jumped in on this call, I did some research, about what are your interests, Jack, and also about the title, topic that you had
Hmm.
about AI and how AI is reshaping cyber, and to see how from the perspective of what we do, we can contribute to that conversation that you're leading. And so that allowed me to come better prepared without having to interrupt any of my colleagues who are also working on some really important things. And so I think that's one of those great benefits now that we can leverage AI with.
For sure.
And
Um,
that's our new go-to market strategy. In fact, we're doing a lot more trade shows. One of the things that I think AI has brought is it brought us more together as humans. So with COVID, we got in isolation. Now with AI, I think the value of human interaction, the value of talking human to human has increased. And so
for
that's
sure.
that's kind of also what we are betting on. And while there is a place for AI and robots and virtual employees and all that, there is also a place for human interaction. And that's kind of where we're trying to find the right blend, the right equilibrium, and getting to get customers around us who also value the human side.
Yeah, and I think that is important because everyone will always need that at least to some extent. So I think you're spot on with it and figuring out, okay, what is that balance? What does that equilibrium look like? Awesome. Well, yeah, I guess I was also curious, more on the challenger side and getting NewPush into the hands of your ideal customer. But do you have any like bottlenecks around either like pipeline for you or outreach or even like lead conversion? Anything on those that comes to mind for you?
Yeah, so the bottlenecks keep moving, because you fix a bottleneck, it's like a whack-a-mole game, you get enough leads, and now suddenly, like, can you process the leads or can you deliver? And so growing a small business, it's always about, focusing on what's going to make the biggest difference for you in the moment, and that kind of changes as your business grows, your structures change, as Michael Walsh from the Walsh Business Growth Institute says in his book Freedom by Design. The as you grow your business, there is these different danger zones, and they tend to change as you grow, and you have to be ready to adapt with the structures, and you have to have the right team in place who are flexible enough, and also who can work uh, to some extent without structure. And that's just basically the nature of the game. You'll have some attrition because some people are good at working at some levels of structures, and when your structures are changing as you grow your business, then they may not be the right fit anymore. And so sometimes you're losing really great people that you worked with for a while, that you enjoyed working with, but that's just the nature of the game. But these are challenges. So I would say the hiring and the employee attrition is definitely one of the challenges. And then right now at our growth scale is training our sales playbook, and teaching all of our sales staff to execute the playbook, and to grow into that phase when we don't have just salespeople who do it all, but we basically are differentiating now the different types of sales roles, differentiating between the people who bring in the new business versus the account managers, differentiating between the people who set the appointments versus the people who do the discovery calls. All of those things, all of those are challenges we have to tackle and go through. These are not specific to cyber. I think this is just a growing business kind of. And when you're not a very large business, you have ebbs and flows, and you have
Yes.
to also kind of like navigate through that.
Yeah,
So
and adapt on the fly because yeah, you're right that things change very very often, and figuring out hey what works best, what doesn't work, adjusting your procedures and like I said, your roles on the sales side, and all that obviously is very very important to continue to grow the business. So awesome. I guess one big question I do like to ask everyone is, let's say hypothetically you had a like a magic wand where you could fix one thing in your business right now that's either holding you back or slowing you down to get there. What would that one thing be for you and for NewPush?
yeah, right now I would want to finish the migration to our new structure. We have a new uh, kind of like enterprise management system that's all integrated and integrated with a quote manager, integrated with the ticketing system and everything. And I would like that migration to be done and complete, and have all of my customers. We have thousands of customers, all of them migrated onto the new system. We have done a bunch of upgrades this year. We have migrated by the end of the month. We will have migrated all of our customers to new technology, and we already see a bunch of customers are super happy because they see the speed improvements, they see the new capabilities. So that if I had a magic wand, is to have that whole process to be already done, because it's very tedious and a lot of
Mhm.
coordination, and then also a lot of good communication with our customers and internally. That's very very challenging.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like it's big project that. Yeah, you're right. Hey, some things just do take time, but yeah, the faster and more efficiently you can do that, more time you have to focus on everything else. So, yeah, totally makes
Yeah.
sense. Awesome. Well, yeah, just a couple last things here. I was curious, hey, for founders, product leaders listening, any advice you'd give them on integrating AI into their business, their product development process as a whole?
Yeah. So first you need to start by really doing a proper scoping of your IT environment, understand how you're using IT, and then doing a discovery of all of your potential problems. Okay, you don't have to fix all the problems, but you have to do a proper discovery so you're aware of everything, and then you have to basically prioritize. Okay, very important that you prioritize, because you cannot make everything priority number one. And then once you're done with your prioritization, you also have to do a lot of validation. Like, are your hypotheses correct? Are those things that you discovered are real? And then only then do go ahead and get to work. And that's a constant cycle, because you have to constantly rescope and then revalidate, reprioritize, do your discovery and all that. This is the same cycle we do in cyber. It's the same cycle that will allow you to have good data for your AI projects, so your AI projects are stable, and basically they're you can let them go and you don't have to worry about collapsing. A lot of people let AI systems go and then they auto collapse. Okay, because they collapse under the weight of degrading data, degrading quality, and no proper supervision. So that's the biggest challenge we see people, or biggest pitfall we see them fall into, is they try to jump into AI too quickly, because they think it's going to be just like chatting with AI on ChatGPT, and that's not how it works. It's more at the level of the complexity of onboarding a new employee, with the same care you have to do for employees. We taught AI, the large language models, from the knowledge of humans. So they very much behave like real employees. They have differences, and I'm not saying they're a replacement for real employees, I'm saying that they're just very similar in the behavior, and you have to approach it that way. If you give them bad information, just like regular employees, they're going to end up not being able to make good decisions. So there is a lot of challenges around that. And of course, you cannot fix all the data quality issues of your company. I mean, that would be basically grinding to a halt. So you have to create systems that are resilient enough, just like employees can operate with imperfect information, and they can operate well. You can set up systems with AI that can operate well with imperfect information. So I'm not saying that you have to reach perfection in the data, but you have to put some systems and some safeguards in place to make sure that there is good resilience.
Yeah, with a kind of constant monitoring of it. But I do appreciate you mentioning kind of the complexity, I guess, of that, and not thinking it's a, hey, well, we implement it and now we're good to go, and that took me, whatever, 30 minutes, an hour, and we're done. It's a, like you said, constant monitoring of that, and tweaking of the AI and the systems that you put in place so that, yeah, it will continue to run efficiently, not just, hey, we're off the ground, works for a week, a month, whatever, and then kind of breaks down from that point.
Yeah,
So
and the
yeah,
technology is evolving all the time in leaps and bounds. Our AI curriculum, we're rewriting it every single week. Every
that's
single
awesome.
week. So it's not like basically you teach a class in math and you teach the same class for the last 20 years. For us, we have to rewrite every single week, and we evolve ourselves constantly. So our own internal processes, our internal agents, robots, AI systems, they evolve, and they look completely different even from a month ago. And we're super excited because it's amazing technology. It's evolving at a fantastic pace. But this is why small businesses actually have a chance, because the large businesses, why they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of inertia, and they're changing in a very slow pace. I talked to very large e-commerce shops and things like that. They have not retooled their employees. They have some elite people who are really good at AI, but they have the people who are just doing things as business as usual. And that, as a small business, if you embrace AI, you can outperform those large institutions. So this is your chance.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I think that generally is very good advice to realize, hey, just how powerful AI can be for people. So, especially those small businesses, maybe you don't even have, that many employees, and figuring out how you can maximize technology to work. Amazing. Only last thing I have for you is just if you wanted to share where more people can learn about NewPush or get in touch with your team.
Yeah, we're actually rebuilding our homepage too. But if you're a small mid-sized business, then we created a special website. It's just business.newpush.com. If you want to get on board to our free platform, it's platform.newpush.com. And then if you want to have a cool learning environment that's completely free, and you're a little bit of a home lab type person, you tinker with computers at home and stuff like that, and we have labs.newpush.com, where you can deploy an entire stack with the completeness of all of those things that would take you hours and hours and hours to build on your own, and it's ready to go. It's used at universities alike, so you can have fun with that. So again, business.newpush.com or platform.newpush.com, or you can just go to labs.newpush.com
Cool. Yeah,
and
and I
let us
will.
know
I'll
how
make
you
sure.
like it.
Yeah, I'll make sure to include those in the comments when I do the official upload here. But yeah, that was kind of it. So I very much appreciate you hopping on here, Big B. Thank you for sharing all the insight and knowledge, and answered all the questions that I have for you. But yeah, that's kind of the wrap for the podcast here. So hope you enjoy
My
the
pleasure.
rest of your day, and have a good week.